Why not Europe? Europe seems to be a kind of shadow region for AngelList, and there's so much demand for it in Europe. What's AngelList's thoughts around Europe?
So when I came in, AngelList was in Europe, right? We actually had a few funds that were there. And after I sat with the Europe business for a few quarters, the observation I had was we hadn't won US yet. And we weren't at scale in the US, but we were in Europe, and the regulatory structures in Europe that we need to solve were not as standardized as they would be in the US. And so it was the combination of, look, let's win US first. US is also just the largest market for venture. And then let's make sure we have a clear view of how we can standardize the structure in Europe, and then we can go there. And so I actually made the decision to scale back and shut down Europe because it was just splitting our resources. And the one thing I deeply believe is you should always look at how do you sunset things. Like I think it makes sense for a company to explore new products and new expansion. But if it's not working at the rate you expect it to, let's sunset. We got to focus back on the core. And so that move was more about us focusing back on the core around winning US, scaling US, because the ambition of the team is very large, and we didn't want to get distracted by these, by trying to solve for the regulatory structure there when we hadn't won the US yet. I think now we're actually in a very different position.
What does winning the US mean?
Winning the US for us is what percentage of venture funds are we supporting, and what percentage of venture-backed startups are we supporting on our infrastructure? And so we look at it simply as percentage of market share, and we want to be north of 50% across all of the different segments as we scale. And it's as simple as that.
What are we today in terms of funds and companies?
It's so companies, we just started last year with our cap table product, and it's growing quite fast. I can't share market share data yet, but it is growing incredibly fast, and we're very, very happy with that, and we're continuing to invest there. On the fund side, anytime we enter a particular fund like size, we go after it. We'll typically get north of 50% market share pretty quickly. And so that's how to think about it. It's like 50, 60% market share as we kind of eat into the different funds, because again, our product is just fundamentally different than any other back office provider.